Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to another episode of Sree's daily global COVID-19 show. My name is Sree Sreenivasan, and it's my honor to convene this daily conversation with folks around the world. If you're watching live, we are here a little early. We're 12 hours early, but you can watch us at any time. We're so grateful to you for being here with us. Please share this with your friends around the world. On this show, we discuss three crises: the health, financial, and inequality crises. We're always looking for guests and theme suggestions. Today's episode is really special. It's episode number 143. We've been on the air for 143 straight days. No vacation, no holiday, right through this pandemic. And today we're going to be talking about the world of work and the way in which you can think about being an inventor. It's called The Inventor In You. And my favorite inventor is here, Charles Kannankeril, author of The Inventor In You, a step-by-step guide to your first invention, holder of more than 70 patents, and my New Jersey godfather. I am so thrilled that you're going to meet him. Right now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to share this on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Anybody in the world can watch now or watch later. We want you to share this so that as many people in the world can benefit as possible. You may not think you're an inventor, but Charlie will help you find that inventor in you. This is going to be so exciting. Hi, everyone. I'm Sree, and I'm the Marshall Loeb Visiting Professor of Digital Innovation at Stony Brook School of Journalism, and I'm co-founder of Digimentors, a social, digital, and virtual events consulting company. Our motto: don't cancel your in-person event, and don't even think about planning your virtual event without talking to us. My email address is right here. Write to us. We would love to give you advice. We'd love to be part of your production company. We can be 10% of your production or 110% of your production. We've done projects for 50 people and for 100,000 people. That's right, the world's largest gathering of teachers, T4. We were honored to put that together for our friend Vikas Pota. Please check out our work. Our website is digimentors.group, and email me, sree@sree.net. And you can find me on Twitter @Sree. We are live right now on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, and on LinkedIn. You'll meet Charlie in just a few minutes. Tell us how you're doing. This is an early show for us. If you're watching live, watching on the recording, it doesn't matter. But we're 9 a.m. in New York instead of our 9 p.m. show. We are so thrilled that you are here. I am grateful to everyone who supported us these 143 days. Many of you have written in to say this show is something that you look forward to. Some of you call this show helpful. Many of you have called it a lifeline. And I want to tell you that this show is my lifeline. This show has helped me. This show has saved me through this pandemic. It's been my wife, my kids, our dog, and you. So thank you all for being here and for supporting us. We're so grateful. Now, if you're new to us, or even if you've watched a lot of our episodes, here is some background about the show. We run on Scroll.in, one of India's leading news analysis and cultural websites. Please check them out at Scroll.in. We've had more than 1 million viewers. We've had 100 million social impressions. We've had 260 guests from 53 cities and 15 countries, including the chief scientist of WHO. Doctors, nurses, authors, journalists, CEOs, founders, teachers, professors, and all of this because people have supported this show. You can find our entire archives on youtube.com/Sreenet. We couldn't have done this show without our two producers, Rose Horowitz @Rose Horowitz 31 and Vandana Menon @Vandana_Menon. The two of them kind of volunteered 140 days ago to help out. They had no idea what they were getting into. And here they are 143 It feels like 143 years, but just 143 days later as we are bringing you this show. Please be in touch. We'd love to collaborate, love to hear your ideas, and we want to hear from you for speaker ideas as well as sponsorship ideas. Speaking of sponsors, we want to thank our sponsors. First off, let's thank our friends at Nunbelievable. Divinely delicious cookies on a mission. Each box of handcrafted cookies purchased provides 2 meals to those in need. Get 20% off with the code SREE, S-R-E-E. Nunbelievable.com, divinely delicious cookies on a mission. We also want to tell you about some of our friends who have shows that we work with. So right after this episode, you will see at 10 o'clock on his channels, our friend Stefan Kaplan will have the Spin It Social Hour talking about photography and social media. He'll have his students from the FIT, the famous Fashion Institute of Technology. They'll be here at 10 a.m. Eastern on his channels. Find it at Spin It Social. Then tomorrow morning is the show that started it all for us, the New York Times Read Along. We read the New York Times out loud like crazy people at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Our special guest is Matt Goldman, New York Times best-selling author and Emmy Award-winning TV writer. Credits include Seinfeld, Ellen, and The New Adventures of Old Christine. That's the show that some of you know is the show that Julia Louis-Dreyfus went on from Seinfeld before she hit Veep. She was in The New Adventures of Old Christine. So please tune in for those shows. And on Sunday night, we always do Sunday Night Positivity, where we try to be positive with all the rotten things going on in the world. All right. Are you ready to meet our guest? You will in about 30 seconds, because first we have two more announcements. We want to remind you that after our 8:30 a.m. show ends at 11 a.m. Eastern on Sundays, we host She's on Call. Two of my surgeon friends, Dr. Sujana Chandrasekhar and Dr. Marina Kurian, they host a fabulous new show. I'm honored to be co-executive producer. It's called She's on Call, and they have this week on their agenda to talk about what's happening with school openings, what's happening with the coronavirus. And they have two guests, Dr. Benjamin Chang, who performed one of the first hand surgeries, hand transplants in the world, and Dr. Claudette Lejam will be with us, an orthopedic specialist. So all four doctors tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern. Please connect with @She's on Call. And now our final ad.
Hotstar Premiere Nights. Watch the year's biggest blockbusters streaming straight to your screen, exclusively on Hotstar.
Hotstar.com/US. What if one day you found a bag full of cash and you're faced with a dilemma to take it or not? Would you take it? Watch Loot Case, premiering and streaming right now exclusively on Hotstar.com/US at Hotstar USA. All right, enough wind up. Time now to meet Charlie. We are so delighted that we can bring him on here to meet with you today. He's the author of The Inventor In You, a step-by-step guide to your first invention. And he's the holder of more than 70 patents. Please tell us where you're watching from. Please say hello so that he can meet you. He's watching from New Jersey, and he is my godfather out of New Jersey. Please say hello, everyone, to Charlie. Hello.
Hello, Sree.
How are you doing? Good morning.
I'm doing great. It's great to be in your show. It's a privilege and an honor. And I'm doing great in spite of what's going on. We are getting used to the normal new life. My wife worked from home doing telemedicine, So I get to see her more often now. Every day in the evening, I make sure we play pickleball in our driveway. I converted driveway into the pickleball court, and we spend 1 hour every day, and that's great. The only problem is we don't get to see our kids as much as we like to see it. Although we have FaceTime with the grandkids so often. So other than that, we are doing great.
It is our new normal. I only heard the word pickleball in the last few months, so I need to be schooled in pickleball. We have people watching around the world, some of whom are watching from places where pickles mean different things. I remember my brother, when he was a little kid in school in New York, he was asked to draw his favorite food, and the teacher would draw the food, but they had to say what it was. So he said pickle and rice, and the teacher drew a cucumber, and he started crying because that's not the pickle he meant. In America, pickles mean cucumbers that have been pickled. For those of us from India, pickles mean something else. They mean the spicy chutneys and pickled goods that we eat. So, but pickleball is new, so we must get that out of the way. What is pickleball?
Well, it is the new tennis for the seniors. It's about half the size of a tennis court, and we use a plastic ball, same size as the tennis ball, but very light, like the ping pong ball, and use a small paddle rackets. A very exciting game, one of the fastest growing sports in the United States, and all the seniors are getting into it. So being a senior, that's my thing.
Well, I look forward to watching you play that one day. Do you want?
You can come over and we have a match.
You've been very kind, by the way. We should tell people you've been inviting us to come over, but we don't want to infect you. You don't want people from Manhattan coming into your nice suburban house and an environment where you're safe in lockdown. One of the things that happens, of course, is all the younger, the adult children are calling their parents saying, lock yourself in. So I know you get that advice from your kids and family as well. So we've got a lot to talk about. We haven't seen each other since the pandemic, and I decided that you are always so well dressed, even when you're relaxing at home, that I had to break out a new.
I sleep like this.
Yeah, you sleep like that. So I decided I had to break out a new Bombay Shirt Company shirt. Many of you know that I worked with the Bombay Shirt Company for a couple of years as I did my world tour. This is a shirt that I paid for because I love their shirt so much. So this is the miracle of things. There's a custom-made shirt that I ordered on Thursday, and it arrived here by Wednesday. So just 1 week in the middle of pandemic, handmade in India, and it's here. And I'm not being paid to say that. Unlike all those other ads, this is a fan talking about the Bombay Shirt Company, bombayshirts.com. Check them out. I even put in an elbow patch to feel like
you look great.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you, Uncle. We have a lot to talk about. Your book, which I have here, The Inventor In You by Charles Kannankeril, a step-by-step guide to your first invention. And some people watching this may be a little apprehensive because they're saying, well, we're not inventors. This show is not for us. So first thing I want you to do is sell this show to people who think that I'm not an inventor. How can I learn anything from this show? So I'll let you go first, and then I will talk about why I invited you.
Okay, great. Well, I'm a research scientist by profession, and for the past 45 years, I conducted research, trying to develop new ideas and solutions to meet the consumer demand. And during this time, I have been very fortunate to have come up with more than 300 ideas, solutions, products, and processes, which were protected by 85 patents. Sree mentioned that I have 70 patents. That's a long time ago. It's 85 patents now.
Okay, time out. So let me first apologize for that. I cannot keep up with you. When I first met you, you only had 10 patents, and I thought, oh my God, I'll never meet somebody with 10 patents. And you have 85 patents, including products that hundreds of millions of people have touched, maybe billions of people. And we're going to show them examples of that in a couple of minutes. So get ready for that. Things that you have used, folks, you are going to see the man who helped put that together. Invention, of course, is a team sport, right? Everybody participates, lots of people. You build it together. But this man has 85 patents to his name, and you're going to hear about them. So I interrupted you as you were telling us that you have 85, not 70 patents.
Right, and numerous trade secrets. But during this 45-year period, I've been very fortunate to have more than 300 ideas, and some of them turned into patents, and some of them turned into trade secrets. I still have about 25 trade secrets that the company keep it as a secret, so nobody can copy it and do that. So what I was trying to say that during this time, this helped me to come up with these ideas. And when I retired, I felt that I have gained an incredible amount of valuable information, knowledge, and experience in the field of invention. And I felt it is important to share that information with others who may benefit from it. And with that thought, I documented all this information and published them in my book, The Inventor In You. As Sree said, this is a step-by-step guide on how to identify a problem, how to come up with solutions, and how to take that solution and turn into an invention, and finally, how to protect that invention. And my goal is to inspire the readers and motivate them to come up with their own invention. But one of the reasons for that is that I strongly believe there is an inventor in all of us, regardless of who we are and what we do. You don't have to be a scientist, a scholar, or a genius to be an inventor. Many of the inventions were carried out by ordinary people without any special education or training, and even by children at a very young age. You probably heard about Dr. John Goodenough. He invented the alkaline battery when he was 96 years old. And on the other extreme, a 6-year-old boy, Robert Patch, invented a toy truck, which became a huge hit in the toy industry. And I'm always fascinated by a 10-year-old girl. I like to share a story. This is my favorite story. She was a cancer patient undergoing chemotherapy in a hospital bed. And she had the needles stuck on the arm and attached to a couple of IV bags. Anytime she moves around, she has to grab all the tubes in one hand and push the IV stand with the other. And she found this very annoying, uncomfortable, and inconvenient. One day, while moving around like this, one of the tubes broke loose, and she tripped on it, fell down, and got hurt. When she got up, she was very upset. And she said to herself, I wish somebody would come up with a better way to do this. And that was the key. And when she went to bed with that thought, staring at that IV stand, she noticed her backpack lying on a table right next to it. That backpack gave her an idea. When the nurse came by, she asked the nurse if she could remove those IV bags from the backpack, from the stand, and attach to the backpack. Then folded all the tubes inside, and she got up and put on the backpack and started to walk freely. No more holding on to the tubes, no more pushing the IV stand. She could even climb the steps while still getting the IV drips coming from her backpack. The nurse was impressed, and the parents were excited, and they helped her to apply for a patent. And this 10-year-old girl was granted a United States patent for her invention, which she called the IV pack. So here we see a little girl who did not even have a high school education, came up with a great idea to solve the problem that she was facing. And all she had to do was to use her common sense, a little bit of imagination, and with a strong desire to solve the problem. And normally, that's all it takes for anybody to come up with an invention. So the takeaway from the story is that what you learn is how you use your knowledge. That's important.
All right,
so
thank you. Thank you. I want everyone watching right now to share this with their friends. One of the reasons I wanted Charlie, I'm calling him Charlie, but he's Charlie Uncle to me. We wanted him here is because people are feeling the pain, right? Not just the pain of the health crisis, but the pain of the economic crisis. And people, I wanted inspiration. And Charlie, I'm always inspired by every time I spend any time with you. And this is the book. I also had the honor of writing the foreword for this book.
Thank you, and I'm honored.
No, it was my honor. I wanted to read a couple of lines from it because it'll explain what we're about to show you. We're going to show you some of his patents, and you're going to say, oh my God, I use that, and I use that, and I use that. We're going to show them all to you in just a couple of minutes. So stay tuned for that. Please tell your friends to watch us. Just tag them on Facebook. They can watch this later if they cannot watch this now. And what I said is that invention and innovation are in the air these days. Everywhere we look, we see people doing startups, ads for inventor kits, and people taking the plunge into entrepreneurship. Of course, this was all written a couple of years ago. Never in human history has it been possible to have an idea, make it come alive, and get it to market as fast and as cheaply and as easily as it is today. And that's what one of the things you'll learn in this book. And I talk here about my work as a journalist and alleged innovation guru. I have the title innovation in my job, but nothing like you. I've had a chance to speak with some of the greatest innovators of our time. Designer Tory Burch, Microsoft's Bill Gates, Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg, and the co-founders of Instagram, Kevin Systrom and Mike Krieger. And I worked for many years with Joe Ricketts, who created Ameritrade, and all of them embodied the 5 words in Charlie's special program that he's going to tell us about. The program is called AIMIP: ambition, imagination, motivation, inspiration, and persistence. So we're going to talk about all of that. And I said in this book that inventors in small towns in faraway countries may no longer need to come to the US to succeed. But I'm so glad that once upon a time, it was essential for a young Charles to make that journey and change our lives in so many ways. He's done the difficult work of distilling his experience and giving us the invention roadmap. Your picking up the book is the natural next step. Now comes the fun part, the reading, followed by the harder, tougher work, but the more satisfying work, the doing. So let us now start by, again, everyone, the book is called The Inventor In You, available at all fine online stores or your favorite independent bookstore. We want you to stay safe when you're getting your books. And it's called A Step-by-Step Guide to Your First Invention. So let's talk about some of the inventions. We've got some photographs we want to share. So we're going to show that. Are you ready, Charlie, to do that?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to start by we should tell people you worked for a company called Sealed Air. And Sealed Air is a company that invented one of the most useful things in our lives. And the story starts there in 1960 by the person who invented what?
Well, the person who invented was my ex-boss. His name is Alfred Fielding. There's an interesting story about this invention. When he came up with this product, he didn't know what to use it for. He thought it was a very fancy film, and the original idea was to use it as a wallpaper. So he started a small company and started to sell as a wallpaper. And after several years, he could not generate enough sales, and he was ready to close down the business. One day he was playing with this bubble, and he accidentally popped one of the bubbles. Then he realized that it has a great cushion properties and could be used as a packaging product. The rest is history. Today, bubble wrap is one of the most commonly used packaging product in the entire world. So that was the original invention. So
everything started there, right? So Sealed Air is the sealing of air inside
right.
the
That's
bubble
the
wrap, right?
That's how the name came.
Right. So Charlie was too young to have invented bubble wrap, but he joined Sealed Air one day, and then, along with his friends and colleagues, helped change history by the products that came out of his shop or his workshop at Sealed Air. So let's talk about some of them. You tell me which one you want me to bring on first.
Well, the inflatable bubble, right? The the story behind this is as the company grew, we were getting more and more competition, and at the same time, the gasoline price went up, and we found it very expensive to ship this bulky, lightweight product from the manufacturing location to the customers. Sometimes the cost of shipping was more than the actual cost of making the bubble wrap. So one of my first projects was to reduce the shipping cost for this product. So I came up with a inflatable bubble, a flat bubble that you see on the right side, which is a flat sheet. And we can wrap this and ship it to the customer at a much, much lower cost. And we also designed an inflator. The customer can take this inflator, which is probably a little bigger than the size of your backpack. That small machine can take this giant films and inflate it at a much higher speed, more than 200 feet per minute, and make the instant bubble. The customer loved this product for two reasons. Number one, they could buy a low-cost product because of the low shipping cost. But the main reason they loved it, they could save tremendous amount of warehouse space to store this bubble. For example, Amazon, one of our biggest customer, they use more than 100 truck loads of bubble wrap every single day in a single location. So that is, if they want a warehouse to store it, that's got to be larger than the whole block in the street. So they loved this idea because they could save so much warehouse space. So it was a win-win situation. And the company alone may saved more than $50 million just on the shipping cost per year. So that was a significant invention for us.
That's awesome. And everyone, think of all the bubble wrap that you have touched and had to encounter and had to use. Charlie had a role to play in that in the last few decades. We should. I'm sure there'll be questions about plastic and its role in the world and how you feel about the pollution and all of that. We'll get to those questions as well. So now let's talk about another invention. Are you ready? Which one would you like me to go to?
The produce bag and dispenser.
All right. So this is my favorite invention of Charlie's, I've got to tell you. And by the way, everyone, please write in. Tell us where you're watching from. We want to bring your greetings. Before we go to that, before we show you my favorite invention of Charlie's, 85 patents, but my favorite, before we do that, let's look at some of the greetings coming in from around the world. Jonathan Borstein is watching from Union Square. I know Charlie lives outside New Jersey, but outside of New York, but spend lots of time in New York. He and his family are people who love to go out and go to restaurants and all of that. And we're sorry that we're not able to do that. But Jonathan is from Union Square, and he was my guest last night because our show yesterday was with the mayor of the town of Milford, Pennsylvania, and Jonathan was co-host. And this was an amazing show. Please go back in my archives. The mayor of Milford, he was the first in 1990, the first openly HIV candidate to run for office, and now is the mayor of a small town. And he talked about the AIDS crisis and what he learned in that time and how it applies to everything happening today. Let's see. Johnson's watching and says hello. Makrand is watching from Manhattan. Dimitrov says hello. Dimitrov has a scary mask, so I'm not sure why he has that. And Jonathan is saying happy birthday to Rose. And lots of other people are watching. And Animesh is watching as well. I've got so many folks here. Gayatri says yes. And Animesh is giving you the voila, I forget what this is, ta-da emoji. Are you an expert in emojis, Uncle?
I don't use that much.
Okay. We should point out you are a technical genius, but you're not necessarily an emoji.
That's right.
Social media.
The hand sign.
Yeah, there you go. And Lekha is watching from Kerala.
All right.
Okay, that's my mom.
Hello, Lekha.
Yeah, she says hello and she sends her love. And my dad sends his greetings. Hi, Charlie, the inventor. Good to see you. And
hello, Stony. Good to see you.
This is great. It's great to have my father and mother watching my godfather. So it's perfect. And Rose says hi. Rose is joining from Milford, Connecticut, where we were just talking about. And she missed the show last night, Uncle Charlie, because it was her birthday. So we wish her a happy birthday. 141 days she's worked with us. And my dad says the lockdown has done you some good. You're looking prosperous. Now, you know in India what that means, right? When we say you look healthy, what does that mean?
Well, you walk around, I guess.
Yeah, it also means that in Kerala, when we say you look healthy, that means you've put on a little weight.
Oh, okay. I didn't get that. Yeah.
Yeah, Uncle Charlie has always been too skinny. So you still look too skinny to me, but I think my dad is saying you look healthy. And Rupa says hello, and she's 300 plus ideas, 85 patents. Nikhil's watching from Connecticut. Hi, Nikhil. Great to have you here, as always. Makran says, wow, you're an insightful innovator. And he's put in a link that you can look at. And our friend Stephen Kaplan, also from New Jersey, Ramsey, New Jersey. Have you been to Ramsey, New Jersey?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, everyone, let the inspiration flow. Thank you for sharing, Charles. And Stefan will have his own show at 10 a.m. Eastern that you can see. And Ann Paul Augustine is watching. Tell us who this is.
Well, she's my niece, and she's expecting a baby next week.
All right. So greetings, niece. Great to have you here. And who is this watching from Chicago?
That's my daughter. Hello, Crystal.
Yes, Crystal, hi. We've known Crystal since she was a little kid. And as I told her, now she has her own child. I like to say, like babies having babies. Time flies, doesn't it?
Sure does.
Yeah.
Sure does.
Terry is watching from, oh my God, Terry is watching from Las Vegas, where it is only 6:30 in the morning. So she's been up. She's tagging her son, who I knew as a little boy, and now he's an engineer and graduated. And Terry was a guest on my Vegas show. What can you tell us about Las Vegas that is okay to share in public?
For me?
Yes. What is your favorite? Remember, one second. Just remember, your grandchildren are watching and your wife is watching. So what can you tell us?
Well, it's about my wife.
Okay.
We went to Vegas, and she bought a book on how to play the blackjack. She read the book overnight. Next day, she went to the one of the casinos. She won $800. I could not believe it. So I always play the slot machine. That's my favorite.
So why didn't you just take out all the money in your bank and give it to her to play? She could have just kept playing.
I let her keep it. I want my hand exercise. Pull the slot machine.
Yes, the slot machines. That's right. Let's see. We've got the whole family watching. It's so nice. My dad says the whole family is watching from different parts of the world, as it is a joy for us to see Charlie. And my mom says, so nice to see our great friend. Hope to see Mary also in the show. Maybe we can entice her to join us at the end. We have so many comments coming in. Makran said, we love to pop bubble wrap, right? That's one of the things. That's a kind of exercise for people. It's also kind of therapy.
It is a therapy, yes. A lot of psychiatrists use it. Yeah, give it to the patients.
Yeah, and then Ron Thomas is watching from Dubai. Ron is a dear friend of ours. Ron has been on my Sunday morning show. Ron, I need to get you on this show as well. Have you been to Dubai?
Yeah, yes, I have. I love that place. I want to go back again.
Okay. And Nancy is watching from Ohio. Tell us who Nancy is.
That's Crystal's mother-in-law.
Yes. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Nancy. Thanks for watching. And Ann Paul is telling us, she's watching from Staten Island. Tell us about the whole family.
Well, it's my brother has two children, Anne and Bobbin. Both are married, and both are expecting their first. Bobbin expecting first child in 2 months, and Anne is expecting her first child next week.
Wow, that's amazing. Let's keep going. Let's see all these greetings. Rupa is watching from the living room here, and Ron is laughing at the joke about being healthy, as we say. Sheila Antapan is watching. Hi, Uncle. Who's Sheila?
That's Mary's niece.
Very cool.
Hello, Sheila.
And Vandana, our producer, says this is so inspiring. And Anne is sending good vibes. Great to see you. Miss you, Uncle. Love and hugs from all of us. Ashok is watching from Trivandrum in Kerala. And he says, inspiring indeed. Sheila says, we're proud of you, Uncle. And lots of questions coming in. We'll get to the questions in just a moment. Sheila says, Uncle, you are great. And our friend Steph says, I'm a blackjack guy myself. And Nancy says, my favorite thing to do is pop bubble wrap. So that is pretty cool. There's even an app, I think, where you can do fake bubble wrap. And
Absolutely.
You can break that. And Alam is saying hello. So many people watching. So now we're going to tell you about my favorite invention of Charlie, something that you have used, all of you have used anywhere in the world, because hundreds of millions of people have touched this product. So you are solving, an inventor solves problems. And one of the problems is if you go to a store, a grocery store in the 80s, 90s, you want to take vegetables, you pick up the vegetables, and then you have to reach for the bag to pull, from the bag dispenser, you have to pull that, and you need two hands because it was a wide bag, you have to pull it. And this gentleman changed that for everybody by doing something really simple. So let's first show the invention, and then you will tell the story of this invention. So here it is. So tell us the story of this.
Well, like you said, in the olden times, they used to have these large plastic bag rolls. Instead of, in spite of using both hands to unwind it, they also need both hands to tear off the bag from the bag roll, and then open it up. So what we did was we took the large bag and folded it into four and made a narrow strips, and then wound up into this this compact bag roll. Then I designed a dispenser. When you put them together, you can pull with one hand and it automatically dispenses it. Once it dispenses it, you open into a large bag and you can put your fruits and veggies.
And the key of this, for everybody to understand, is there's a hook that then helps you tear that without having to tear it like this, right? That's
right. You just keep pulling it and it opens up.
So in this photo, you cannot see it very clearly, but there's a metal hook. You all know it from going to grocery stores. And so this kind of invention changes the bottom line of a company like Sealed Air, because millions of people are using it, millions of companies order it, isn't it?
Right.
But now if somebody goes to the store and looks at the store, it won't say Sealed Air because the company sold it, right?
Right. It's and today 95% of all the United States supermarket uses this product. It was a huge business before we sold it. And there was a story when we introduced for the first time. We went to the store to watch people how they react. One lady pulled up this bag and she saw a narrow bag, and she looked at a banana. She said, "This is probably for a banana," and she threw the bag out. She didn't know how to do that. Open it up, and then she moved back and watching other people come in. Then somebody else came and took the one bag and he opened it into a large bag, and then we saw this lady came back and picked up the bag she threw out. She opened it up and used it. So it was a learning curve for every product.
One of the things that I have noticed, there are things when they're invented or you encounter it for the first time, you're lost. You don't know what it does. But then suddenly it clicks. And then you always wondered how you ever lived without it, even though you never knew you needed it.
That's right.
That's one of the things that Steve Jobs would always say, is that, he doesn't always follow what the market needs, because he says that people don't often know what they need. And so that's another way of looking at innovation. But tell me about that feeling that day in that supermarket. First, when she thought it was a banana, were you like, oh my God, this is not going to work? And then when you saw it open, what was those feelings like?
Well, see, we went there on purpose, and we pretended as we are customers, but we were observing the customers want to find out how they react, what are the problems they're going to have, and if they make any comments, and we listen to them without them knowing that we are the people who invented this product. So we get a lot of ideas. See, one of the main reasons for any invention is that we have to know what the customer needs, not what the customer wants. Customer probably wants something, but that probably not exactly what they need. So you have to know exactly what the problem you are trying to solve. And you cannot solve a problem without knowing exactly what it is. So you need to know, look deep into the problem and find out and define it, the problem, before we start try to solve the problem.
As you look back at your career, Charlie, what are the feelings you have when you know that you've helped so many people in tiny ways? We're going to show some of the bigger things you've done also, but some of the tiny ways, how does that feel?
Well, it feels great. Every time you see a product, when I go to Home Depot, we saw these insulation bubbles. Go to supermarket, we saw this, and every time I get a package, I have bubble wrap inside. And every time I buy a piece of meat, under the meat, we have a product that I invented many years ago. I mean, it's a great feeling. That,
so let's talk about that. This is one of my other, package products that you made so important. This looks very simple, but there's an absorbent pad for meat trays. When you buy chicken or meat in the US, this is lying under the, between the meat and the styrofoam tray or whatever that material is. Why was this needed? Why isn't the styrofoam enough?
Well, for two reasons. Number one, it soaks up all the blood and keep it away from the meat. If the meat sits on the blood, the bacteria grows and the meat gets spoiled very fast. So this is one way to keep the meat fresh for a longer period. And it is a very simple design. It's two plastic film with an absorbent material in the middle and put several holes on one side. These holes are one-way valve. So the blood goes in and it won't come out. It gets trapped in there. So it is a unique way of keeping the meat away from the blood and keep it longer. Another reason is if the blood floating all around the tray is a very unsightly sight. People don't like to see blood floating in the pad. So it's another selling feature for the meat.
So that's a way in which you were able to help the food industry as well. Folks, if you're just joining us, we have another 20 minutes or so with Charles Kannankeril. He is the author of this book. It's called The Inventor In You, and I have it here. And he's the holder of, I originally said 70 patents, but it's 85 patents and more than 300 ideas that he has helped refine. And he's got in this book a really important workbook at the end so that you can think about how you do your own work as trying to invent or change things. So there's lots of places you can take notes, as you can see. So we'll talk all about that, about how you can do some inventing in just a couple of minutes. Meanwhile, please tag this show, share it with your friends. We want everybody in the world to know about Charlie and know about his book and also to be inspired today. That's why we're doing this on a Saturday morning. Many of you are tinkerers. You know that you like to do things in your garage. If you know somebody like that, please tell them about Charlie. Please tell them about this book so that they know about it. And here is, for those of you who are new to the show, this is our daily global show that's running on Scroll.in. And he is one of our 260 guests, and more than 1 million viewers have joined us, 100 million social impressions. We've been live every single day for 143 days, and we're able to do that only because of the support of everyone here. So, Charlie, are you ready now to give us some specific tips to help us with our way of thinking about invention and ideas? Are you ready?
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So I'll let you take it away. But before that, let's just see if there are any comments coming in. And I see lots of comments here. So first, who is Stephen Voss?
Stephen Voss.
Stephen Voss. Okay. 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 Stephen
He's my son-in-law.
Hi, Steve. Steve, by the way, your whole family is fantastic, but I want to give a shout out to Stephen because he's the closest to my line of work. He's a photographer and photojournalist, and he says, so great to see this discussion, watching from DC. Love Steve, Charlene, Luke, and Lena. And Ashok is inviting you back to Kerala. Charlie's from a small village in Kerala called Kumbalanji. Is that
Kumbalangi, right?
Kumbalangi. And it's you had to go by ferry to get out of the
not anymore. We have a bridge now.
We have a bridge.
That bridge made a record. It took 25 years to build this half-a-mile bridge.
Okay, but it got made, and that's great. Johnson Arimbur is watching.
He's Mary's nephew.
Okay, and he's saying hello from Thrissur, and he's giving you an elbow bump.
Hello, Johnson.
Nancy says, each and every time I'm in the grocery store and grab a produce bag, I think of Charlie. Always. Nancy, that's us too. And now Terry says, can you invent something that opens those bags? Okay, so she's taking a little dig at you, Charlie. What is your
the latest design that opens by itself. I don't know if it's near your supermarket, but it's coming.
Oh, seriously? You're not joking?
Seriously, yes.
Oh, okay.
When you pull it kind of opens up by itself, so you don't have to.
So, but that is the process of invention, right?
Yeah.
Getting reinvented.
Every time you invent it, you will find more problems, and then you keep on inventing it. Every time you solve a problem, there's an invention. So,
Mohammed has a suggestion. Wouldn't it be easier to take the bag first and then put your items in it? So, what is your answer to that? He's saying you didn't need your invention.
Well, if he can make some money, that's the way to do it. Look at all the supermarkets using it.
Yeah, so there must be a reason, right?
More than $100 million business.
Yeah, $100 million business. Thomas Gunn is watching, Kunjunj and Ruby watching from New York.
It's my brother and sister-in-law.
Yes, very nice to see the whole family. Here is my father saying, Mukesh Ambani's dad told him to go to the market and see what you missed there and invent it and produce it. Today, he's one of the richest men in the world, as you know. And Nancy says also used with berries. The meat tray packaging is also used for, especially I think blackberries. They rot very fast, right?
Right. It absorbs the moisture.
Yeah.
And, keep it dry, or keep it moist. It depends on what do you want to do.
Thank you. Terry says, yeah, Sree, you have many amazing relatives, inspiring. Yes, I have great relatives. Those I didn't choose. Charlie is somebody we chose as our relative, as my godfather and godmother, Mary. And Makran saying happy birthday to Rose. Dilip says thinking out of the box and keeping it simple. That is also a good rule. And Lizzie Phillip is watching. Who's that?
Lizzie Phillip. Oh, this is with the Engineers Association president.
Yes. And great to see also when you started, Charlie, not so many women engineers, right? And now we see many more women engineers.
Now they are outnumbered.
Yeah. Vandana says, I wanted to visit Kumbalangi ever since I watched Kumbalangi Nights, one of my favorite Malayalam films.
Okay. Yeah, it's a great movie.
Wait, they made a movie about your small town?
That's right.
Why?
Well, this is one of the tourist attraction now. It used to be an island. When I was born, we didn't have any electricity or running water, no cars, no radios. Now we turn it to be one of the biggest tourist attraction. Great place to live, great place to visit.
If I go to Kumbalangi, what will I see there?
You probably see everything you want to see. A lot of natural beauty, a lot of backwaters, a lot of fishermen.
And that's great. So I'm going to, because people may be wondering how to spell it, what this is. So we're going to show people Kumbalangi Nights. And this is this movie, a 2019 movie. And there we're looking at it. It's a Malayalam language drama film directed by Madhu Narayanan. So I've not heard of this film, I'm sorry to say, but we'll see if we can find it. It's set in the village of Kumbalangi in Kochi, Kerala, in southern India. and Kerala is the state where my family lives, and my parents are right now in Trivandrum, Thiruvananthapuram, the capital of that. And Makrand is asking to send us a link, please. I don't know if it's is it available on Amazon or Netflix? Do you know, Charlie?
Well, about the movie?
Yeah, do you know?
It should be in the YouTube.
Okay, in YouTube. Okay, and Dilip says, this is my show, really different, informative, and a great presenter. Thank you. It's not the great presenter, it's the great guests. 143 shows, 250 plus guests, including the chief scientist of WHO, Soumya Swaminathan, the director of pandemics of WHO, plus entertainers, doctors, lawyers, all of them have come on to our show. They're so generous with their time. Look at Charlie spending time with us on a Saturday morning. He could be playing pickleball right now and being beaten by his family in pickleball, but here he is sacrificing his time to be with us. So now let's give people some tips from the Inventor Is You. Please give them some concrete ideas.
Well, people ask me, how do we invent things?
Sorry, Charlie, can I ask you one thing? Charlie, can I ask you one thing? If you can just sit back, if you want, if you're holding a piece of paper, just stay in one. Yeah, just if you can sit back, and if you're holding it to read it, you can bring it closer to you. No problem.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. They asked me, how do we invent things? I'd say there are 4 ways to do it. First one is to identify a problem that you need to solve. For example, in the COVID crisis, first time they came up with a test kit to test the COVID, it had a lot of issues. It took too long to get the results. And once you get the results, they were had a lot of false positive and false negative. So that's an area the inventors looked at it and they came up with a solution. So that's one way to initiate an invention process. The second way to do it is to identify an improvement in an existing product. Again, I like to link that to the COVID, which is the topic of the day. The first ventilators came out. It was very expensive, very bulky, cost about $50,000. But how did they solve the problem? As the more and more patients came out, they had a real shortage. So the inventors worked on the problem, they modified it. So now one ventilator can be used by 8 patients at the same time. So you increased your supply by 8 times, at the same time reducing the cost by 1/8. Another way to do is to come up with identify an unmet need that need to be resolved. And in this case, again, going back to the corona, how do we stop spreading the virus? And the scientists came up with 3 ways to do that. They came up with a mask, they came up with a hand washing, and they came up with social distancing. And the last area, how to come up with an invention, is to identify a new use for an existing product. A good example is your cell phone. Cell phone was invented strictly to be used as a mobile phone to make the phone calls away from home. And when the product came in the market, people got excited, and inventors tried to come up with other uses for it. And thanks to their effort, today an average person uses a cell phone only 10% of the time to make the phone call. The remaining 90% of the time, it is used for something other than making a phone call, like searching the internet, watching videos, listen to the music. You can make the payments. You can use it as a camera, video games, as a GPS, and you have hundreds of new apps coming out every day. So these are 4 areas where you can start initiating an invention process.
Thank you. That's very useful to know. What has been, we want to be clear that you've obviously had 85 inventions, 300 ideas, but tell me about the invention that got away, where you found it, you failed at some point. Talk about that, please.
Well, I worked on when we were working on the absorbent pad, I thought there may be a better way to do this. So instead of focusing on the pad to improve it, I try to think outside the box. I said, what if we don't use the pad? So I modified the tray, and it had created a false bottom and put the holes in it. So all the fluid will go through the hole and get hidden under the false bottom. And you can actually tilt that without spilling the blood. The company was excited by looking at this product, and we applied for a patent, and I got the patent allowed. But unfortunately, 2 weeks later, patent office called me, we are taking back your patent right. Because they found out in Netherlands, somebody applied for the patent 2 weeks prior to what I did, and I lost the chance of doing that. So I was very disappointed, and I lost the right to that patent. So that was a very disappointing story.
So that could have been a moment where you're defeated. How did you bounce back from that? How did you decide not to give in?
Well, we came up with, when we look at that patent, how we design it and how we write the claim. When you look at the claim in a patent, and that's a key, you can work around that patent to make it better. So we came up with a better design for that, and we could compete with that product.
That's awesome. Let's show everyone your patent wall. Tell us what this is, and I believe you have one of these nearby to show us in person in a minute. But first, tell us about this wall. When we walk into your home in New Jersey, it's a stunning thing to see, this wall, which of course everyone who's been to your home knows. But tell us about it, and I know you can see it from where you're sitting also, but how does it feel to have this wall of patents?
Well, it's a great feeling when I walk into the room and looking at all these patents. See, the company, every time I get a patent, company gave one of these plaques. And towards the end, they decided to put 5 patents in one plaque. And as you probably can see, let me see. They put 5 small.
Hold on 1 second. Yeah, go ahead. You have to hold it steady. Hold on. You have to hold it steady. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So
bring it down a little bit so that people can see. Yeah, the patent. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
pull it back. I'm sorry, Charlie. Just pull it back a little bit toward closer to you. Yeah. Now talk, please.
Okay. So the company used to give me 1 plaque for each patent, and then my office got a little crowded. I have an office wall. So they said, we're going to give you a plaque every 5th patent and put a small description underneath the 4th. So that's how, otherwise I wouldn't have enough space to put all the plaques in the wall.
Okay, so we've been looking at a lot of photographs of your wall, of your of your awards, your patents, all of that. So I thought it'd be fun to show everyone a photo of your family, or part of your family. You've got obviously a big family. So we're going to now show us a photo of your family. So tell us who's in this photo, please. Okay, ready? Ready, Charlie?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Who's in this photo?
Oh my God, Stephen, Lena, Charlene, and Luke.
And are they a photo? Let's see. Say hi.
Hey, wow. Hi, guys. Great to see you.
Look at that magic. The photo came to life.
Great.
So tell us, guys, tell us what's it like to listen to your grandpa?
Really nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's nice to
What?
like learn about this. He wrote this book, so it's nice to learn. There's been a lot of events related to his book, so it's nice to learn more about.
Nice. Well, thank you for being here. Tell us how you're doing through this crisis. Are you guys studying at home? What are you doing?
Well, sometimes
School hasn't started yet.
yeah.
So-
So we're just staying home, but we have like a schedule, and we have different classes.
Who's a better homeschool teacher, your mom or dad?
Wow.
I don't know. This is going to be a little bit dicey. You're getting political on us, Peter.
Yes, we are. Good morning in Washington, D.C. First of all, we should have said that. And that's Charlene and Stephen and their wonderful kids. We are so grateful that you would be up and with us here today. Charlie, talk to them for a couple of minutes. I'll step outside.
Just Luke and Lena had a project when I wrote the book, and I asked them to come up with an idea for an invention, and both came up with the two great ideas. So it is in my book.
You can't tease us like that. You got to tell us a little more. Maybe the kids can tell us what the ideas were.
Luke had the backpack idea because he said, "You want to say about it, or you want me to?"
You remember?
No, I don't think I really remember. Can you say it?
Okay. Well, he said he has a problem taking stuff from the backpack while he was walking. So he thought some way we can twist the backpack to the front so he can open it without taking from the body and opening it up. So I thought that was a great idea to solve some of the problems. And Lena had she wanted the bike ride and she wanted to listen to the music. And she said, I can take my cell phone and take a rubber band attached to my handrail and ride the bike and listen to the music. And she wanted to come up with a way to attach the cell phone or the radio to the bike.
Awesome. This is so cool, guys. We're so happy that you can be with us. Why don't you ask your grandpa or your dad a question? What is one thing you've always wanted to ask him and embarrass him in front of thousands of people? This is their chance. Either Charlene or Stephen or the grandkids.
What's a piece of advice that you would have liked to have had at your age when you first came to the United States?
So the question was, Charlie, sorry, can we have you sit back? Charlie, can we have you sit back, please?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. So the question is, what is a piece of advice that you wish you had had when you first came to this country? You obviously had an incredible life, an incredible career. You don't need any advice. You did it all. But what is something you wish you had known then that you learned the hard way maybe over the years?
Well, I wish I had a family here to support me. I was 2,000 miles away, 12,000 miles away. I came as a student when I was 20 years old. I didn't know anybody. I could hardly speak the language. And I had $6 in my pocket. And I landed in New York City in the middle of the night. And I missed my next flight to Boston. And I didn't know what to do. So I helped a lady to carry her luggage. And she asked me where I was going. And so I got friendly with her. And she finally helped me to take to my destination. And I didn't have anything to eat. I didn't have any money with $6, it was a struggle. So I wish I had a family here to support me when I was here.
We should make it clear what the $6 story is, because that's what the amount of foreign currency that.
Well, actually, it's $8.
$8. That's right.
I spent $2 in Germany for a bottle of beer.
Okay.
That wasn't intended for it. I didn't know they're going to charge me for the beer. I thought the airline will pay for it, but at that time I had to pay.
So first lesson for these kids is, if you have $8 in your pocket, do not spend $2 on drinking something. Okay, that's the first lesson. If that's your total amount of money. So the government of India would allow people leaving to only take $8 with them. That was the law, because India didn't have enough foreign currency in their reserve, so they really kept a tight fist on it. And all those stories you hear about Indian immigrants who came here in the 60s and 70s, they came like that with $8 in their pockets, and many of them have gone on to do so well. Charlie, as before we let the family go and get back to their Saturdays, first let's ask them what is planned for Saturday during pandemic. Let's hear from Lena and then from Luke. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, right now we are in Washington, D.C.
We're actually in my clinic office because the kids had their first dentist appointment this morning in my building. So we're not home. First time masks off for a doctor's visit, right? We've had a few virtual ones, but
and Luke, make sure you wear your mask. Don't even take it out when he examines your teeth.
Are you guys nervous to see the dentist? Oh, look at that mask.
Oh,
That
that's
is cool.
great.
Wow, that's a really cool one. Are you scared to visit the dentist, or it's all good?
Well, it was pretty good.
Okay, very cool. We should tell folks that I thought this was your home because of the photographs behind you. Those are Steve's photographs, aren't they?
Yep.
And one of the are those fracture photographs that you print them on glass. I've seen this in Steven's house. Everybody, there's a beautiful thing that you can do for your best pictures. You take them and then you send it to a company called Fracture.me, and then they print them on glass, and then he puts them up in the home, and they're stunning. I mean, you have to start with good photographs. That's the secret, not the glass. It's the great pictures. And Steve, you got to come on our show and talk about your work. Taking pictures of everyone from Michelle Obama on down, right, is the right way to to look at it. And also news photography, the pictures of Robert Mueller going in to testify, things like that. So we'll definitely give you a chance if you're able to join us. We'd love to see your pictures with everybody. So before you guys go, after the dentist's office, after mom's office, what are you guys doing?
Going for a bike ride.
Oh yeah, we're probably gonna go biking a little bit.
The streets are pretty empty in DC, so it's nice to kind of explore. We've been doing some bike rides downtown, so that's okay.
Nice, very good. All right, we'll let you folks go. Shall we get Grandma in here as well? If Mary's ready to join us, she's going to pull up a chair so she can say hello.
Mary?
And let her join us as well. 1 second, so she can sit there. So Charlie, you can make room if she'll be coming. You can make room for her.
I think she's in another room.
Yeah, so she's watching. She knows, so she'll come down. That'll be fine. Okay, so thank you guys for being here. This was a nice surprise. Did you think they were a still photograph, Charlie, when they came on? They were acting like they were a still
Yeah, I thought it was a picture.
Yeah, so wait, Grandma's going to be here in just a minute. Folks, if you're watching, our shows are not all about family, but when we can, we love having family on, not just my family, your family, because we want to connect more than anything else during this time. Our colleague, Steve Taylor, has been saying this is about social closeness, physical distancing, and that's really important. And there is Grandma. Hi, Mary.
Sree, when you said grandma, I'm thinking, where is this old lady coming from?
That's why she didn't come. That's right. You didn't show up because it was Grandma. That's right. So let's have Lena and Luke talk to you.
Hello, this morning we were trying to fix the computer. So Lena comes on the phone, gives the clue. Papa, press the mute button. This is the button to press. And Luke also giving him ideas as to how to go about in the computer. And I said, oh my God, we are getting lessons from my grandchildren.
They are our tech gurus.
That's right. So talk to Grandma. Go ahead. Lena, go ahead.
So we have FaceTime every week, and we play jokes, we play games, we play charades and those kinds of things. That's the way to keep in touch with them. So we have an awesome time with them. The hardest thing with the pandemic is not being able to see your children and grandchildren and not being able to hug them and kiss them and all of that. That has been the most difficult thing for us.
So, we did do a drive-by. We drove up to New Jersey one day and we stopped in the drive-by.
And we didn't recognize them.
So they came on the week of July 4th and they came to the driveway. Charlie and I were playing pickleball in the driveway. And I said, some car is coming into the driveway. Charlie said, they're just turning around. So then
we kept on playing.
Started blowing the horn and there they come. But we weren't able to hug them or kiss them. They stayed apart with the mask on. We had to put the mask on, but at least we were able to see them. So that was great.
That is a lovely, sad, but important story that you were able to see each other. That's the main thing. Let's see who else is watching. Hemant says, greetings from Elmwood Park, New Jersey. We know so many wonderful innovators between here and India that can benefit from this wisdom and experience, but have fear of going the next step. Sharing this with several of them. Hemant and everybody watching, now with pandemic, you can invite Charlie to come up and do a Zoom call with your audience. Tell them to buy the book and do a Zoom call with your association or just your friends. Hemant is one of the best connectors I know in the world, and many of you know that I love connecting people. So if I say Hemant is a great connector, he's the ultimate connector. So Hemant, please do. Anybody write to me, I'll connect you with Charlie, and definitely check out the book. You can find it on Amazon. It's called The Inventor In You by Charles Kannankeril. Anand is watching from Andhra Pradesh, and Makrand is watching and says, soap wash, hand wash if half-witted mistaken messaging by the White House. And so many comments coming in. Lekha says, Luke and Lena have grown big. And that's my mom watching. And Terry says, beautiful family. This is only part of the family. We should make that clear, right? There's a Chicago part of the family that is 1 hour behind. They're probably just relaxing on a Saturday morning.
It depends on when my grandson is in a good mood or not.
Yeah.
So he's only 1.5 years old. So
Yeah,
one thing I wanted to tell you, the main satisfaction for Charlie in writing the book is, if he says, after reading his book, if one person comes with an invention, that is the biggest satisfaction that he has. So all of you listening, please start
inventing.
Yeah, look at what Ashok says. We would like to connect with Charlie. I will email Sree Sreenivasan. So he's going to email me, Sree@Sree.net. I'm very easy to find, SREE@SREE.net. Write to me, and I will connect you. And because that's the easiest way. Charlie's not on Twitter yet. And not, but maybe.
Yes, I am now. Steve helped me with that.
Wait, there is a Twitter account? Wait, tell us. Guys, tell us. Hold on.
Steve helped me. Steve, can you?
Steve, what do we have a working Twitter account, or we're getting a Twitter account?
Yeah, I think the handle is Inventor Charles.
Okay, so we'll double check that to make sure, Inventor Charles. But also you can write to me and I'll connect you. And what about a TikTok account for your grandpa? What do you think, Luke? Is that a good idea?
I thought it was just recently working on, he was working on having it banned today, right?
Oh, yeah. There might not be TikTok after
Yeah,
today.
I think today is the last day for TikTok.
That's right. Donald Trump is working to have a ban, but Microsoft is also looking to buy TikTok away from, buy it off of ByteDance, the Chinese company that owns it. Meanwhile, as you know, India has banned TikTok, and we did an episode with one of the leading Indian tech experts right after that ban of 59 apps from Chinese apps have been banned in India. You can go back and see all of this on our archives, youtube.com/Sreenet. So many comments coming in here. Rao says hello from Warsaw. Have you been to Poland?
No.
No.
No. Okay. And Mary Auntie, Ann Paul Augustine says, great to see you here. And Ashok is part of the Next Step Career Academy as Chief Operating Officer. So this is what you're talking about, right? Next step after your career, you've continued to be a writer, you reinvented yourself. And I tell everybody, I work with an organization called Encore.org, ENCORE.org. They're a group that, among other things, helps people think about their next step in their lives after they retire, but they do so many other things. And in Kerala, the retirement age used to be for government 55, which is so young. And Charlie retired well after that, of course. So we're going to let the DC family go. Bye, DC family.
Bye.
Yes.
Nice to see you.
Bye, Mom and Dad.
See you guys.
Thanks for coming out, folks. So let's talk to Mary Auntie here for a second. Mary, tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us what it's like to have Charlie at home after all these years. He used to travel a lot. He used to be so busy. Now, do you have too much Charlie in your life?
I don't think so, because I really have been busy practice. I do telemedicine. So I start working from 10 o'clock till almost 6 o'clock with the half an hour lunch break. So we have a schedule. We play pickleball together, then we play cards together, and then it's like seeing movie time, and that's the end of the day. So it is still very busy schedule with the pandemic. So many, since I'm a psychiatrist, so many people are coming with the more anxiety, depression, family issues, abuse in the family, they cannot do things together. So all the coping skills that they have, like going out, going to socialize with their friends, going for dinner, things like that, they cannot do. So trying to teach them different coping skills at this time. But people are extremely stressed because the uncertainty, when is this going to end, has been a major issue.
So I have to ask Charlie, what is it like to be married to a psychiatrist?
Well, she keeps me sane. I have a free session with her every day.
But now Mary can tell us publicly, does he really need a lot of extra help?
I don't think so.
Do HIPAA rules apply to spouses?
Yes.
By the way, I have the reverse issue. As you know, my wife Rupa is not a doctor, but we had the same internist, general medicine doctor for a while. It was a terrible idea. Never share your email password and never share your doctor with your spouse, because what would happen is that doctor would complain to her that I wasn't taking my cholesterol medicine and all of that. And so we said, this is a bad idea. We're not going to have other patients.
No.
Maybe you signed the release to talk for him to talk to her. Otherwise, it's $250,000 fine and jail term.
That's what it costs to do if you break what's called a HIPAA patient law.
Right.
Provide privacy, and so there are a lot of laws around that. Mary Auntie, we should tell Charlie Uncle that I had actually invited you to be on our show very, very early in the process, long before we thought of having Uncle. That was many months ago, but now I hope you will now be ready to come on the air yourself one day and talk about your work, because you could help a lot of people through this. And we're so grateful that you're here.
would love to do that.
Thanks, Sree.
No, you told me you were worried about the technology, right? And now look.
That's right. We are taking your course, certificate course.
Oh, good.
Yeah, every Saturday that has been one of our things to do.
Thank you.
You helped us a lot.
If you become proficient, I'll take you up on it.
So that's great. So now I want to share with you another greeting here.
Hello, Charlie. How nice to see you on Sree's daily conversation. I'm so glad that he's featuring you with your book, The Inventor in You. We knew there was an inventor in you in the many years that we have been friends. But we realized only when the book came out that you have done 70 of them. And these inventions are down to earth, things which people use in their daily lives without realizing the importance of such innovations. You have made them practical, convenient, and fashionable, and enabled the market to make use of it. With 70 inventions, you must have crossed several frontiers of knowledge. And I'm sure one of these days, somebody will take your accomplishment into account and give you a Nobel Prize. That is what we are waiting for. I'm also sure that Mary must have helped you in this process by keeping your mind steady, because after all, she is a psychiatrist. All the very best, Mary and Charlie. Nice to see you again. Thank you.
Still waiting to see you in New Jersey.
So we're glad we were able to bring, for those of you who didn't get it, that's my dad, Sree Sreenivasan, author himself, former diplomat, and he has his own TV shows and video shows and all of that. You can follow him on Twitter at Sreeniv, Sreeniv on Twitter. and he's written 8 books. So Charlie, you now have a challenge in front of you to start the books on your next book as well. So before we go, it's 10:19 already here. Charlie, remind us a couple of the main takeaways from the book. Why should people get The Inventor in You? What will they learn, even if they think they're not inventors themselves?
Well, like I said before, you don't have to be a scientist, a scholar, or a genius to come up with an invention. All you need is that a desire to come up with something, and you believe in yourself, identify the problem, then come up with the solutions. I always say, take the challenge and try to identify a problem. Don't wait for the problem to come to you. You take a proactive approach, and then use your method to create something new, useful, different, and unique. Or create something that make our life a little better, a little safer, and a little easier. So I hope you will find that inventor in you.
Here you have a list of silly inventions that made millions. Hula hoop, wacky wall walker, the top-down squeeze bottle, pet rock, slap bracelet, slinky. You talk about the future, 3D printing, robotics, AI, space exploration, medicine. All of these are ways in which people who didn't expect to be inventors became accidental inventors. We've seen that in my world of digital and social media. But there is also a lot of luck involved, isn't it, Charlie? And
absolutely.
One of the things that we should all acknowledge is the educational system in India that gave you the basis for your success, the immigration system in America that allowed you to come here, study, and stay, and you were able to thrive. That immigration system is under jeopardy today because of the rules changing, and that this country gave you a chance to not just survive here, starting with $8, but thrive and build a beautiful family and a career. So talk a little bit about what America means to you, Charlie, please.
Well, it's been a long road for me. And like I said before, I didn't have anybody to support me to give the right advice. So I kind of learn as I go. And that gave me a lot of confidence towards the end. I started feeling that I could do things without getting help from others. That confidence helped me a lot to be successul.
All right, and tell us about the role of your success, the role of this lady in your success.
You're talking about this lady, right? Well, we have a great relationship, and we've been honest with each other, support each other every way we can. And she's been a great inspiration for me. Even when I wrote the book, she's been very patient. Sometimes I wake up 7 o'clock in the morning and won't get up from the desk till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But she's been very patient with me, supported me all the way. So she's the best.
She is the best, and we're one day we're going to convince her to come on our show and talk about how people, her work as a psychiatrist in helping so many people over the years. We should also acknowledge that Charlie Uncle is a great cook, and Indian men of his generation typically are not involved in the kitchen, it'd be fair to say, but he loves to cook, and I love going over. There's always food, warmth, and a lot of love in the home, and it's been an amazing treat and honor to be part of your family and all of us together. So we'll let you go. What is on tap for a Saturday at the exciting pickleball tournament today?
Well, every day we go out. We go out in the driveway, go to the mailbox, and pick up the mail and come back. So that's a new normal.
Today's the day to get Indian food. So we go and pick up the food. So that's something great. And then he's reading a lot. I still have patients to see today. So it will be a busy day.
All right. Well, we want you to be careful. We presume that your grown children are like us grown children. We call our parents and yell at them to not leave the house. Tell them to wear the mask. I presume you get the same calls, and then you're calling them, and then they call you, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes.
Everybody's saying stay safe. All right. Thank you so much. We'll let you go. Thank you very much. Everybody who's watching, please follow Charlie Uncle on Twitter. We have to confirm that the Twitter handle is Inventor Charles. And he's taking my course. So once he does more of that, he'll be doing more tweeting. His book is called The Inventor In You, and he's available to do Zoom calls with your club, book club, inventors club, your social club. Gather, for a next Zoom call, invite him. Write to me, Sree@Sree.net. I will connect you. And I wish both of you the very best. And I'm sure we'll be talking very soon. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Sree, and thank you all for tuning in.
Support
Yes.
us and giving him the opportunity, Sree. So,
Yeah,
thank you so much.
there's so many comments still coming in. My dad says coconut chutney by Charlie. Makran says Kerala.
Actually, I have invented few recipes.
Yes. Makran says Kerala Kuta is cool, and Ashok says long live the relationship. Rose has put in a link to the Amazon, a link to the book, and Makran said for immigration, best free direct resources are unique issues. He's linking to his favorite lawyer, and Ashok says long live the relationship. Nancy, who's been watching. These are nice in-laws, right? Not all in-laws get along, but
Thank you, Nancy.
are watching and following you on Twitter. So I can't let you go without first checking out your Twitter. So let's make sure I have the right address here. And Inventor Charles, that's right.
Yeah.
That is his Twitter handle. I didn't know that. How did I not know about this? So now
It just happened 2 days ago.
Okay, that's why. So we're going to show everybody his Twitter handle so that you can all follow him. And he's going to post ideas from his book. He's also going to give you tips on this. So the other thing you can do, Charles, my recommendation is to put your email address here so that people can connect with you. Otherwise, you have a website, guidetoinvention.com, right? And there it is, the book that you have. There's also the contact information here as well. You can contact him. There's the email address, charlie.kannankeril@gmail.com.
That's right.
And the website is called guidetoinvention.com. Guidetoinvention.com. Everybody check that out. And that's it. Wonderful greeting from Sree's father. That's from Rose, who's saying that. So everybody check out Charlie. Check out the website. It's called guidetoinvention.com. And check out all the information that's there. And we'll say goodbye finally. This is what we call an Indian goodbye, right? We keep saying goodbye.
Thank you so
Take
much,
care.
Sree.
Thank you again. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I hope you had as much fun as I did with that episode, folks. As soon as I get off the air, this will be recorded and live on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And I'm live on these channels every single day with this show. We have very important episodes coming up that we want to talk to you about. On Sunday night is Sunday Positivity. Please join us for that. We also are going to be talking about the importance of fighting hate on during COVID. We'll be joined by my colleague and friend Jennifer Lazarus, and we will be interviewing Oren Siegel, who is the vice president at the Center on Extremism at ADL, a leading anti-hate organization. That's Monday night at 9 p.m. And we have several other shows in the works. We would love to have you join us for these shows. Please email me if you have ideas on how we can work together. You see my email address right here. If you'd like to be a guest, if you'd like to be a sponsor, if you have a theme idea, a collaboration idea, we would love to work with you. Thank you so much for joining us. Let me thank our sponsors one more time. We want to thank nonbelievable.com, divinely delicious cookies on a mission. Each box of handcrafted cookies provides 2 meals to those in need. 20% off with the code SREE. One way for you to support their mission, but support this show is to buy some cookies at nunbelievable.com and use the code SREE. We also want to thank our sponsors at Hotstar.
Hotstar Premiere Nights. Watch the year's biggest blockbusters streaming straight to your screen, exclusively on Hotstar.
Hotstar.com/US. World premiere films premiering at Hotstar.com/US, including Loot Case. Check that out at Hotstar.com/US. And Sunday around here is very busy. We have 3 shows that we work on. The first is the Sunday New York Times Read Along. We read the New York Times out loud like crazy people on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Our guest is Matt Goldman, New York Times bestselling author, Emmy Award-winning TV writer, whose credits include Seinfeld, Ellen, and The New Adventures of Old Christine. Please join us at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And when that show is over, I am the co-executive producer of this show. It's called She's on Call. 2 of my surgeon friends, Dr. Sujana Chandrasekhar and Dr. Marina Kurian, host She's on Call. Find it on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube. And their guests are Dr. Benjamin Chang, who performed one of the first hand transplants in the world, and Dr. Claudette Lajam, who is in orthopedics. And they will be with us tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Please join us. Find at She's on Call on Facebook and on Twitter. And then at 9 p.m. Eastern is our positivity show. That's it for now, folks. Trying to stay positive in the middle of all this terrible, terrible news from around the world, but especially in this country. Please stay safe. Please wash your hands. Please, I beg you, wear a mask. Even if you get the wrong signals from your president or from your governor or from your mayor, please wear a mask and please stay safe. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Stay socially close, physically distant. Thanks very much, everybody. We're saying goodbye right now.